As a kid, I lived dead in the middle of nowhere. My family owned a farm, and so we lived in a farmhouse which literally had a dirt road leading up to it. I want to say I was 16 at the time. It was getting close to midnight. On this particular night, I was home alone. I was sitting on our couch in the living room watching a movie with Bear, our family dog who we'd had for years. He was getting old in age, and therefore wasn't the most active dog and could easily sit through a whole movie motionless by my side. It was during one of the quieter parts in the movie when Bear's ears suddenly shot up and his head turned around. I muted the TV. I myself didn't hear anything. Bear stayed completely focused in this one direction. It was towards the house's front door. My first instinct was somebody was at the door, but this just wouldn't make any sense considering the house's location. You have to go completely out of your way to get to our house. I don't think we've ever had someone come to our door that we weren't expecting. Like, this stuff just doesn't happen out here. I brushed it off as just an animal and turned the TV's volume back on. Shortly after I did this, Bear started quietly growling, still looking in the same direction. In the time I've known this dog, I'd heard him growl a total of maybe 2 other times. So by this point, I figured whatever was out there, I had to at least go check it out. I grabbed one of our family's mini guns and went up to the front door. I opened it and saw nothing, so I walked out. I got maybe 30 yards from the front porch and looked out into the night. Nothing but black emptiness, so I turned back around. I took one step back towards the house before I stopped myself. Sitting on the edge of the deck was a man curled up in the fetal position. It looked like he was trying to hide himself. I stood there trying to think of what to do next. I was not about to walk up right next to this guy, so as silently as I could, I went around to the back door. It was unlocked, because we always left our doors unlocked. That's not something we typically have to worry about way out here. Right as I got inside, I ran back to the front door, shut and locked it. I then did the same with all windows and doors around the house. I called the police, and after a full 30 minutes, they finally arrived. They searched around the whole property, but didn't find anything. This was somewhat relieving. A part of me honestly started to think I had just imagined the sighting. After the police left, I ultimately decided to just go to bed. The next morning, I get up and go down to the kitchen to start making breakfast. But when I went to grab a knife to cut some fruit, I couldn't help but notice one of the knives was missing. I stood there confused. I was sure it was there the night before. I got a bad feeling and decided to call the police again. 2 officers showed up, and this time I had them search inside the house. I stood outside while they did so. After a few minutes, the 2 officers came back out with an old, scrawny-looking man in handcuffs. The man was found under the basement stairs, gripping a knife with both hands. It was the knife missing from my kitchen. After a short-lasting struggle, the man was detained. This was the same man that was hiding outside. After giving the whole story to police, they believed that most likely he had simply gotten in through the front door during the time it took me to go around the house and get in through the back door. From what I know, the man said nothing when questioned about what he was doing way out here, or what he had planned. But the fact that he grabbed a knife couldn't mean anything good. I still think about what would have happened had the man searched any more of the house that night, and possibly found me sleeping.